Okay, Zarin, please introduce yourself and your story.
Yeah, hello everyone. It's nice to meet all of you today. I'm a researcher by profession and a storyteller by passion. I got trained at the World Storytelling Institute at Chennai. I'm not going to reveal my story's name first. Okay, towards the end of the story, I'll reveal my story's name. Usually we just love the May months every year. No, we just love the May month. You know why we like the May month? It excites us. It excites us because that's when we have a vacation. During these vacations, we plan for our road trip to our native place, Nellai. That's exciting, isn't it? But this year we didn't get a chance to go to our native place, but that's okay. So I'm going to tell you an incident which happened during one such journey of ours. The time which it takes to travel between Chennai to Nellai is approximately 11 hours. Since it's a very long journey, we take multiple breaks on our way. We stop at restaurants to relax and refresh ourselves. During one such journey of ours, we stopped at a restaurant. We got down. At this restaurant, I saw a little boy who was around 12 years of age. He was a friendly little boy. He was too friendly. He smiled at us. My son, he was totally attracted to him. They became friends immediately. My son started to play with that little guy. When it was time to leave, I called my son. I said, "Fast, it's time to leave." My son said, "No, Mama, I want to play with his Anna." Anna is brother. He said, "No, Mama, I want to play with his Anna for some more time." I said, "Fast, we don't have much time." We had to cajole him to leave the place. Finally, he was okay to leave. He said a bye to his new friend. He was ready to part ways. That's when I went next to this little boy and I asked him, "Tambi, un per enappa?" "Brother, what's your name?" He said, my name is, he was a bit hesitant to answer me. He said, "My name is Esaki." I asked Esaki, "Esaki, do you go to school?" When I asked him, "Do you go to school?" He said, "No, Akka, no sister, I don't go to school." I asked him, "Why? Why don't you go to school? You can go to school, right? You can go to your school in the morning, evenings you can work at this restaurant, and even during your holidays you can work here. Why do you skip your school?" I asked him. You know what he said? "I went to school once, but I did not like it there." I asked him why. Now, Eseki became very quiet, but I was not ready to stop there. You know, we women, we tend to get curious. I asked him, "Why, Eseki? Was there an issue? Did you face any financial issues?" He said, "No, Akka, not because of financial issues." He was hesitant once again, but he started to tell me his story. He said, "My father is a manual scavenger. He cleans all the sewers and he cleans the septic tanks. Sometimes he even removes the human waste from the railway tracks. But my father wanted me to shine in my life. He wanted me to have a good education and he wanted me to have a good life. But sadly, we did not have any schools in my village. There was only one private school which was nearer to my village. So my father approached an NGO and this NGO helped me to get a seat in that school. I was stunned. I asked him, "Why? Then why did you stop your education? Why did you drop out from your school, Eseki?" Eseki said, "Akka, When the other kids were paying fees, I did not have money to pay them. So I was made to clean the bathrooms. So Eseki was made to clean the bathrooms. He said, when the other kids were playing, I was cleaning the bathrooms. The stench from my fingers did not allow me to eat my lunch. The stench which was lingering in my fingers did not allow me to eat my lunch. There were times when I took my lunch back to my home untouched. There were many days like that. I felt very shocked. Eseki continued. He said, you know, Akka, during rainy days, our school septic tank, it usually overflows. The waste flows into the ground, and I was asked to remove that waste from the ground, from the school ground. When I picked that waste in a bin, the dirty water seeped out of the bin and it drenched my shirt and it drenched my pant. So I had to stay with that stench all along the whole day. And when I went back home, I felt very bad. I was okay to do all the work. I was okay to bear all of these, but I was not able to bear being lonely in my own school. The students at school, the teachers at school, and everyone around that school did not like to talk to me. I was lonely all the while. Said I was lonely all the while. I was not able to bear all that bullying, the name calling, and the shaming. And after a point, I felt education had to make me better. It had to make me feel better. But I was not getting that comfort from my education or from my school. So I decided to quit my school and I decided to take up a job. Now I'm more comfortable here. I'm able to contribute to my family's family. I'm able to contribute to my family. I'm able to make my parents financially better. So I feel I'm more happy here. Akka, now you tell me, do you want me to go to school? When he asked that question to me, I did not have an answer. You know, guess what I would have done? I just opened my purse, I took some money and I gave it to him and I left the place. But I was feeling very, very, very guilty. And when we reached our destination, as I told you all, we were traveling from Chennai to Nellai. So when I reached Nellai, this thought was running in my mind. This thought did not leave me. You know what I did? I opened my Facebook. I drafted a big post and I posted about this on my wall. This was to appease my guilt. Part of my guilt was appeased because sometimes we tend to become the Facebook warriors to battle against the issues in the society. But are we becoming the real warriors was a question in my mind. And this story is a story which is based on a book named The Truth About Indian Manual Scavengers, written by Basha Singh. It's an imaginary story which I penned down after I read this book. This story moved me. I was totally into this book because the facts which were stated in this book were all real. The stats were all real. And in the past 3 years, there are about 88 manual scavengers who have died when they were cleaning the sewers or the septic tanks. Their life is pathetic. But as a society, what change have we brought in their lives is still a big question mark. The debate about these manual scavengers are still going and we are yet to find a solution for that. Usually in all the sessions, I'll be telling a fairy tale or another story which feels good, some stories, some songs. But this time I felt I should say this in the forum because since it was a conversation, I felt that this will bring more awareness to all of you who are attending the session. I know this is a bit heavy, but still with that, I would like to finish my story and Hope you all liked it. And hope I was able to give some awareness too.
Thank you very much. And I want to congratulate you. You're telling very spontaneously and wonderful acting and full involvement, full sense of reality. It's wonderful storytelling.
Thanks, Eric. Actually, thank you because you're my mentor there. And I actually like the like bringing real emotions to my story because that is one thing I liked in Eric's narration. He stresses on that too, and that's something which I like, and I started to follow too. And I did not end it with a moral, but I ended it with a question mark because I wanted each one of you to have an inference about the story, because the change which we want to contribute is dependent on each individual. Cannot be forced.
Well, I think just to begin with, we need to have respect and appreciation for not just the people who dive into the sewers, but all people who work with garbage. I like to help. I like to help make a pile sometimes so that the garbage people, when they come, it's easy for them to put the pile in the bin outside my house. But the last couple of months, my wife has said, don't you dare touch it. So yes, and even across the house, across the street from us, behind the garbage bin, there's a wall where the paint is flaking off. And it looks bad. You know, it just looks so, it's a building nobody's using. And the wall, the paint is flaking. And in the past, I have painted that wall. I have gone out and bought paint and painted the wall. And today I went out and bought some more paint, including some primer, because the wall is sort of crumbling. So first I'll put the primer and then the paint. But I'm afraid to do it. You know, my wife and daughter, if anything happened to them, if I caught some condition while I was doing this work with the dust and the garbage. So now I'm considering that I might pay someone to scrape the wall and put the primer and paint the wall, but I feel bad because I want to do it, but I'm afraid for my health. So that's the point. These people who work with garbage, they are putting their health on the line every day. We really owe a lot to them.
True, yeah, that's very true. And during this Corona times, these people were the ones who were working with the frontliners to clean the city. And that was a great service.
Okay, anybody else want to resonate? No? Okay, go ahead, somebody.
In my country, I find there's a tendency to treat cleaners as the sort of lowest people and pay them pretty badly. And I keep saying to people, if they didn't come, just think of the health situation in where you work. They are very important people. You should treat them with respect and you should pay them properly because they do a job that nobody else will do the same way. And I think that there is a strange notion of who's important, and particularly now with the COVID, everybody has been talking about who are the essential workers, who are not the essential workers, and they discover the least essential workers we have are the rich people. It's the people who do the work who are the essential workers. The nurses and the doctors, they do the work. But these people who sit on their backsides and make huge profits, they're useless. They do nothing for us at all. They don't even contribute. They try and avoid the taxes. It's a very, very difficult situation. Sorry.
Most of what I wanted to say has already been said by Martin, so I will just say ditto. I just wanted to say all that, Martin. Thank you.
I even, about 6 months ago, when I was still helping with the garbage, one day I came home and I felt terrible. I felt very weak and aching all over, and it lasted 2 days. It was something was coming through me, but I recovered from it, and I like to think that my immune system now is stronger because of that experience. So if it doesn't kill you, it makes it stronger. It makes you stronger. Of course, that was not the virus. That was before the virus, but it was something.
Well, I mean, people like me I'm 81 years old. So when I grew up, we didn't have television and stuff like that. We played outside. We played in the mud. We played in the dirt. We got all the little children diseases. We got scarlet fever, measles, mumps, the whole lot. And we came up with, fantastic immune systems. Because we had all these big diseases as children where we could cope with them. And then as adults, we didn't get them. So I'm now 81 and I'm very rarely ill. I'm really grateful for the fact that I grew up at a time without electronics and could therefore just live with the mud and the dirt and everything else and get my hands dirty, my face dirty and everything else. My parents didn't mind at all. They were happy that we're out there doing stuff.
Okay. All right, we have 4 stories to go. And the next is Barry, Barry, you're in Atlanta, Georgia, right?
That is true.
Okay, Barry, take it away. Please introduce yourself and your story.
Thank you, Eric, and good morning to everyone from